Hello there. Okay, so a few months ago, I posted my Flash rankings. I'll put my rankings on the screen right now. Obviously, seasons 1 to 2 peak, but the reason I have season 3 at number 3 is because I think that's when the show really started to get inconsistent. For example, Flashpoint. Atrocious adaptation, by the way. Because back in season 1, the whole reason Barry didn't save his mom is because he didn't want to lose everything that he gained from her death. So he let her die to keep what he had found. But then in season 2, the finale, when he saved his parents, he let his mom die yet again for the same reasons that he did in season 1, which makes no sense to me because he literally knew he couldn't have both. So he was basically just greedy and let his mom die because he thought her life wasn't worth losing what he had found. He basically chose friends over family, which is honestly really messed up. And I had season 4 pretty low, as you can see, and everyone in that comment section on that video was pretty much praising season 4 when it's not that good. So in this video, I will be stating why, in my opinion, The Flash season 4 is not that good. Alright, so just like the Last of Us video, I'm going to start with the positives, then move my way into the negatives. The first positive being, I'm glad this season ended. Alright, let's now move into the negative. The obvious negatives, Girls Night Out, Run Irish Run. Pretty sure I don't need to say anything else about those episodes. Alright, moving into my first point. Starting out strong, the suit. I don't really like this suit. Believe it or not, I actually like the season 5 suit more than this suit. This suit seems it was just made for that one episode in season 3. It doesn't seem like they made this suit for an entire season. Over time throughout the season, you could see the suit sort of start to deteriorate, especially around the neck and the ears. The suit was way too baggy, and I'm honestly glad we only got it for one season. The tone is drastically different from the other seasons, especially when you're binging the seasons. You could really feel it. For me personally, I didn't like it. It was a drastic shift that did not resonate with me. The filler episodes. There is 15 filler episodes in this 23 episode season. There is no reason we needed an episode dedicated to each and every single one of the bus metas. That is poor writing. And their explanation for this is DeVoe needed the metas to fight the Flash so the metas could learn about their abilities for when he takes them over. If DeVoe is as smart as he says he is, why couldn't he just immediately know how to use their powers? And better than they did at that. Horrible writing. Barry and Iris. Believe it or not, I'm an Iris defender. I am. I don't think she deserves all the hate that she gets. I'm definitely not one of those people that said Savitar only had one job. Because when it comes to Iris, Barry and Iris' Speed Force fight, what people don't realize is that Barry knew he was going to go into the Speed Force. They spent so much time trying to save Iris from Savitar when they should have been trying to save Barry too. Joe even said it.
All this time we're trying to save Iris. You're telling me that we should have been trying to save you too?
In season 3, episode 16, Barry wanted to take Wally's place in the Speed Force and he didn't even tell anyone, but the Speed Force didn't let him. So I understand why Iris was upset. He went in there knowing he was going to go in there and didn't say anything. We are the Flash. When it comes to this, I understand what Iris meant. You know, we're married, my fights is your fights, sort of like that. But yeah, I think it just came out wrong. Iris almost revealing Barry's identity when he was on trial. I'm in a complete agreement with that. She was just trying to do whatever it takes to defend her husband. That's honestly real. I probably would have did the same thing. Now, this is probably the only time I didn't like Iris. No, that's a stretch. That's not the only time. But I didn't like what the writers did with Iris in season 4 by making her leader. It's sort of like in The Boys. In the season 3 finale, we see all the boys, how they're their own unit now. They're making decisions as a unity now. And then all of a sudden, season 4, MM's in charge. And you start thinking to yourself, yo, like, who died and made you leader? It really felt like that in season 4. Out of all the characters, even Cisco, they made Iris the leader when they literally could have just had Iris's arc be her building the citizen. That should have started season 4 instead of making Iris the leader and having Joe call her boss every 5 minutes. That was dumb. Now, when it comes to Barry's imprisonment, season 4, episode 9, this may be a hot take, is my favorite episode of the season. I know Enter Flash Time is a majority of people's favorite episode, but that is a filler episode, whether you want to admit it or not, because we did not need an entire episode of Barry proving his fastman alive when that was literally stated in the season 4 premiere. And there's also no way that that quirk sphere did not get destroyed when Barry threw it into the fusion bomb. Again, horrible writing, but I'm getting off track. Anyway, when it comes to Barry's imprisonment, it had an amazing setup. Like I said, season 4, episode 9 is my favorite episode because Barry's prison arc was set up well, but it was poorly executed after that. DeVoe put Barry in prison, and it literally felt like he had no progression in his plan. He removed Barry just so what? He could help the metas escape and then take all their powers in one fell swoop when he could have been done that because apparently he had pocket dimensions set up all around Central City for the last 4 years. Undetected by Team Flash, mind you. So you're telling me he couldn't grab the bus medals without Team Flash knowing? Horrible writing. And I also didn't like how they made Caitlyn and Killer Frost like the Incredible Hulk. That was honestly very dumb to me, because if it was me and I wrote Caitlyn, I may get some hate for this, I would have killed Caitlyn off. I would have had Caitlyn give the cure back to Cisco, because she felt like getting rid of Killer Frost is something that she had to do on her own, and she did. She did end up getting rid of Killer Frost, but her dad died of cancer. What she didn't know was that she also had the genetic marker for cancer, and Killer Frost was her cure from that. But by getting rid of Killer Frost, she ended up bringing her cancer back, and that ultimately killed her. I'm making some hate for that, but it would have been better than what we got. No resolution to her character, by the way. But again, that's another video. While Barry's on trial, Cecile tells him a solution on how to get him out of this entire situation, and that is by revealing that he's the Flash to the world. Barry doesn't want to do that because he says he doesn't want anyone else knowing he's the Flash. After this episode, Barry reveals his identity to 30 more people. I wish I was joking. I literally counted it. It is 30, probably even more. Alright, now my main problem with this season, DeVoe. DeVoe is poorly written. There is literally no reason that Team Flash could not have defeat him in 13 episodes or less. DeVoe literally set up for all of these bus metas to get powers and he could take them away. But when he got the powers, he barely even used them. There was 12 bus metas. Neil Borman, Izzy Bowen, Mina Shatian, Ramsey Deacon, Ralph Dibny, Edwin Gauss, Matthew Kim, Dominic Lance, Janet Petty, Silbert Rundin, Becky Sharp, and the Weeper. With Becky Sharp's powers alone, he should have been able to win. She has the power of luck, by the way. With that, he should have been able to win. There's no reason they shouldn't have won. But you want to know how they beat him? With the power of friendship. Like, season throughout, they've made DeVoe seem like this scary, really intelligent guy that they can't beat. DeVoe even said this.
You could gather every genius on every planet, and you still couldn't outthink me.
That's scary. Like, Team Flash should be scared after he said something like that. But you know what he does? He takes Ralph Dibny's body and leaves him alive inside of his head. Season throughout, DeVoe's been this character who can predict outcomes and conversations, this, that, and the third, but he couldn't predict that leaving Ralph Dibny inside of his head is a bad decision and could lead to Team Flash using that to defeat him. He was even able to predict that his wife was gonna end up leaving him, but yet he couldn't predict how that make him feel. That is so dumb. They really beat DeVoe with the power of friendship. With that alone, you cannot convince me that this season's good. Don't get me wrong, this season's enjoyable. It's not terrible, it's enjoyable, but it's poorly written. The Flash is my second favorite character of all time, and I can admit when he's poorly written, or even if the show got bad. The show should have ended after season 3. That would have been the perfect ending. But then, you know, we got seasons 4 through 9, so what are you gonna do? Anyway, that's my reasons of why I didn't like The Flash season 4. Comment down below if you liked or disliked season 4. I'd love to read them. But with that said, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.